I'm going to share a couple things with you. See all these people? See what they're holding? Here's some examples. They're no longer here. No longer here. Got the title without the pieces. Here's a few more. Gone. He sponsored one of these. This one went in a gold deal that's gone. All of these went in other programs, now they're gone. Now, I could have sat here for 15 minutes and showed you picture after picture after picture of people that got a case of the stupids and went and found another box. They started on the box and they realized, I got a bunch of pieces missing here. And then all of a sudden the companies are gone and out of business. Say, well, Dale, what about when I get to regional? I don't want that to happen. If you will internalize and get what I'm trying to get with you today, what I'm trying to get through to you today, that'll never happen to you. It'll never happen to you. But you got to understand the heart and the soul of this business and what this is all about. See, most of these people, network marketing, New Image International was about making money. They were dollar focused instead of value focused. It wasn't about building people because they didn't build themselves. They built it on personality, and that's what happens to them. Are y'all getting this? Yeah. See, I don't care when a dud quits. I like to get rid of many duds every month as we possibly can. Because duds hurt us all. See, what happens if I own a McDonald's franchise and I say, you know, I'm not going to send my managers to that school to learn how to do the accounting, and my McDonald's is in Hawaii, so I think I'm going to serve big pineapple burgers. What's going to happen to my franchise? They will take it from me. Why? Because it hurts the unity, it hurts the validity of all McDonald's all over the country. Are you following what I'm saying? See, I wish that if you weren't putting the puzzles together, that we could take away your distributorship. I'd give anything if we could take away most of the people in New Image that have distributorships. Because people that are operating their business based upon personality and not based upon systems hurt us all. And we've got to protect each other. See, Jim Rohn talks about, I'll look out for me for you if you look out for you for me. You understand that? We all have got to protect and help each other. I would give anything if we could just get rid of people that are out there stubborn, hard-headed, don't have a clue what they're doing, and ruining it for all of us. I get sick every day when I go in there and Teresa says, Dale, we had 51 calls on the hotline from last night. People that bought the product, love the product, and have no clue who sold them the product. Because they aren't putting the labels on it, they aren't wrapping their bottles and doing it the way it's designed to do. It makes me sick. If I could find out, oh, it just makes me sick. It goes through me. Not because I don't like it, because it hurts all of us. Once you get to the regional senior area director position, you master the basics, you got to throw your recruiting into high gear. You got to start stuffing the funnel like you've never, ever stuffed it before. At this time, you need to start looking at some co-market activities. Look at the magic ad. Look at maybe doing some postcards in subdivisions. Order the How to Build a Nationwide Organization manual and start getting proficient in the co-market. A lot of people come in this program, and the first thing they they want to do is start running newspaper ads and doing cold market activities. It's the easiest, fastest way to take you right out of the business. It won't work. 80% of the people that come in this industry come in from a friend or business associate. And you need to understand that that's where your business is going to be built, in the warm market. How many of you in this room came in from a friend, relative, business associate, somebody you knew? Stand up. Now look around the room, guys. Does that tell you where you need to be spending your time, energy, and effort? Does that tell you that the plan of action is critical, and that's important, and that's why we're going to take this company into the future? Do you understand that? You can be seated. Okay. You got to understand that some of your best distributors are going to come from the product first. A lot of you are missing the boat because you're out there every week and you're handing out videos, but you aren't retailing any product. You've got to retail the product. That's where some of your best distributors are going to come from. You have somebody that gets life-altering results on this product, dynamite's not going to take them out of this business. How many of you were on the product first, were customers before you became a distributor? Hold your hand up and do like this. Look around, guys. Look at this. You understand the value in that. I'm not saying don't get videos out. I'm saying get a bunch of videos out. But you've got to do both. You've got to retail to recruit, and you also have to recruit with that videotape. You can't just concentrate on one or the other. Are you with me? Yes. All right. Now, this phrase right here. Why do I need to get good in the cold market? The purpose of cold market recruiting is to supplement the warm market activities of potential leaders. Now, I want you to get this. I was talking to a national director last week, and he said, Dale, I didn't understand that. This is a national director that didn't understand this statement. It's Jim DeVault. That's who it was. See, the only reason you need to get good in the cold market is when I find a Gary Jensen in New York, and I'm his sponsor, and this guy's paying the price, and he's going after it, then what I need to do is do everything I can to support Gary in New York. I want him doing the plan of action. I want him mastering retail and mastering recruiting, building those two puzzles. But in the process, I'm going to do some cold market in there. I might run a newspaper ad. I might run a TV show. I might do some cold market activities to help and support his activities in New York. Are y'all following me? Does that make sense? Is that better than doing a card deck and all of a sudden you get all these people from California and there's no meeting to plug them into? Now, I'm not saying don't do card decks. There's a time and place for card decks. But what I am saying is the reason you need to get good in the cold market is so you can help those people that you've got, those potential leaders, in their marketplace. See, if I'm Bill Williams and I find Amy Harkless, then I want to do some things in Chillicothe area while they're working their warm market, and I want to start supporting that maybe with a TV ad or a scroll or something to help them. Y'all follow what I'm saying? This is important. And if Jim DeVault didn't get it, then I'm sure most of you probably hadn't. You with me? Okay.
I've got a notepad here, guys, because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget this. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier, but plan of action. Anytime you hear plan of action, that's speaking of getting people launched, getting them launched, get their business launched. And I have a whole webinar on this that we'll put in the bonus section as well. I talked a lot in this last section about get rid of people, run them off. It's okay to say you ought to quit. I believe you're as strong as your weakest link. I believe that even back then we were changing into a culture where you get them in, you stroke their ego, and you keep them on auto ship. And that was 25 years ago. How do you think I feel about it today? What we see. How should we all be feeling about it? If your long-term income is in direct proportion to the number of leaders that you develop on your team, which it is, then we have no place in this profession, in this business model, for telling people what they want to hear and blowing smoke up their dress to keep them on auto ship. It's not a good business model. It's not a good business model, just trying to keep them hanging around. You got to help them move forward. I talked bad, real bad, about coal market 25 years ago. The quickest way to take somebody out of the business is to have them go on social media talking about, you know, their new home business consultant and blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that and blah, blah, blah the other thing. You know, 25 years ago, they wanted to jump in and start running ads, and, you know, we had an infomercial one time. People want to spend thousands of dollars to run an infomercial in their local market because they were afraid to pick up the phone and ask, hey, I've gotten involved in a new business. I'm excited about it. I'd like to send some information over to you, and let me know who you know that I should talk to. And if they can't have that conversation, then they can throw all the money at it they want. They can have every guru tell them to go on social media and or mail out 100 cassettes to this mailing list I'm going to sell you, and you're going to get rich. It's all short term. They will not work. We've proven it. I don't talk a lot about lead generation throughout this series because we were real strong as a company, even 2 years in, of helping people getting launched with a plan of action and then teaching people how to create leads in the local market. So I don't get into that. And some of you I know will have questions. There's a webinar. I'll try to remember to put the link in the bonus section. But it's at localmlmleads.com. I believe the goal is not just to become a leader, but the goal is also to become a master at lead generation, and that's an evolution. It's an evolution. It's just an evolution. But if people cannot become successful in areas where they have geographical credibility in local markets, then the coal market will eat them up and spit them out. 97% of the people. 3% of the population have enough bob and weave, and they can attract followers. They can and they can lead the followers, the sheep, right off the cliff because of multiple reasons in today's world. But this is not about developing a following. Brian Tracy taught us, real leaders develop other leaders, not followers. So, again, I'm sure as you were watching this, well, what does he think about coal market today and social media, and what does he think about this, and what does he think about that? So I wanted to address that and hopefully clarify some of that for you. I hope this helped.
3 leadership traps. Number 1 leadership trap, spending too much time with the wrong people and not enough time with the right people. We find somebody finally that's willing to get off the couch, and they go out and they start working this thing. They're retailing better than you ever have. They're getting out videos and they're bringing people to the meeting. They aren't doing nothing right, but they're doing something. And we're so excited because we finally got somebody doing something that as we take the can of gas and start throwing it all over them, saying, burn, baby, burn. Just go for it. You're doing great. Keep rolling. Keep burning. Instead of taking out our 2x4 and beating them to death with it and say, if you're going to sell the product, daggone it, wrap the bottles. You see what I'm saying? We got to take good people and direct them. You know who will take your direction? People that won't get off the couch. The good people want to do it their own way. Those are the ones you really got to take your 2x4 out. The dads will listen to everything you say, but they won't do anything. Isn't that true? Next leadership trap. I'm sorry again, sir. If the people you have aren't going to take you where you want to go, you got to find some new ones. Some of you get to regional and you're trying to work with those people, trying to get them to get you to national. And if you train an idiot, all you got's a trained idiot. Leadership trap number 2. We think all our people are really better than they are. We think they know more than they really do. We think they're farther down the road than they really are. We got to look at our people and say, okay, what is their true potential? See, their true potential is, over a period of time, I believe anybody can build a nationwide organization, a six-figure income, a new image. I think over a period of years, people can build a $500,000 income with new image. I don't care how big of a dud they are when they start, or how much of a 70%er they are. But we got to look at it realistically, and we say, okay, what's their true potential? And that's what we have got to do if we're going to identify the right people to work with. Next leadership trap. Try and develop out-of-town people with non-leadership type people. Most of you have wasted so much time traveling to other towns to try to do meetings for people that aren't going to do it. What did Ron say earlier? You never go unless leadership takes you. I have wasted more time in 15 years in this industry traveling to areas and doing meetings for people that were never going to do it. I wanted it for them more than they wanted it for themselves. Stanton, Kentucky. When I drive past Stanton, Kentucky today, I almost have to pull over and throw up. I wasted so many hours in that town. And believe me, there ain't nothing there. Oh, I hate that town. I went down there and drove every Tuesday night for a year and a half to try to work with a bunch of duds. I wasted a year and a half. You did too, I guess. Oh, she lives in Stanton? I thought I'd already talked to everybody that lived in Stanton. Build it in your backyard first, guys. You know, I'm glad we got Canada open, and I'm excited about Canada. And I think it's a natural progression for us, and we're going to do great business in Canada. But don't go to Canada till you've been across the street. Let your leadership take you to Canada. Puzzle number 4. This is the 4th puzzle. See, now you've mastered the basics. You're pretty good at what you're doing. You're putting in your 5 a month. The next puzzle that you've got to get real good at is identifying the right people, identifying the potential leaders within your organization. How do you identify something you've never had? And at this point, you've got to have a little bit of a paradigm shift. See, up until this point, your focus has been on getting who right? You, right? That's where your focus has been. And you've done pretty good at it. You've mastered retailing, you've mastered recruiting. Now your focus has to change just a little bit. I mean, self-improvement is an ongoing process, but it has to change from developing yourself now to helping others develop. Does that make sense? See, they got their 20 reasons. They're working on their 4 beliefs. You got somebody that has a stigma about network marketing. What do you got to do? You got to get the books to them. Are you following what I'm saying? So the change has to occur now in your mind from developing you to developing other people. Do y'all see? This is good stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So, and you got to get good at identifying the right people. Now, how do I get good at identifying the right people? These are the 2 best. I forgot this. I didn't put it in overhead, so you can write this down. Here's the 2 best ways I have figured out how to identify good people. Number 1, and this is really weird, but I've never had it fail me. I'm looking for somebody that when they were 6, 7, 8 years old, they were mowing yards, they were selling seeds, they were selling candles, they were cleaning up pop bottles and taking them to the store to get their. Look at all of you going like, yeah, that's me. See, I'm not looking for somebody that did nothing all their life and then all of a sudden they go to college and they get their first job at Pizza Hut. See, there's something that's developed inside people, and I don't know what it is. Now, Dale, are you saying that if I never really did that kind of thing when I was a kid and my first job was at Pizza Hut when I was in college, I can't do this business? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's going to be harder for you. going to be harder for you. And I don't know why. Okay, I can't explain totally why. I just know this is the way it is. You ask any of the national directors, what was the first thing you ever did as a kid to make money? And I guarantee you, they were pulling tobacco plants. They lived in Kentucky, okay, or whatever. You follow what I'm saying? They were doing something when they were young. And there's something that's developed inside of you at an early age to be a superstar here. Now, I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying if I find somebody that sold Christmas cards when they were a kid, I want them in my business. The second thing is you can tell what a person will do in the future based upon what they've done in the past. See, I don't want somebody that's worked 40 hours a week for somebody else for all their life and never done anything else to make any kind of income. I'm not looking for somebody that spent 40 hours at a corporation all their life. They've come home every night, propped up, sit in front of the TV, and watched Ellen. All right, I'm not looking for that. Are you with me? See, I want somebody that always had something else going on. See, I want somebody like Sean over here that had a welding, metal fabricating shop out beside his house. And he worked 40 or 50 hours in corporate America, then he came home and welded all night. See what I'm saying? There's something tells you something about somebody like that. See, I want somebody that spent 5 years in Amway, never made a dime, but spent $5,000 every year. But man, they were at the meetings, they were doing the plan. See, that's what I want. I want somebody that has paid the price somewhere else. Because if they paid the price somewhere else and they'll pay the price here, they're going to feel like they've died and gone to heaven. Identify the right people anywhere within your organization. You're looking for people with strong reasons. People that believe in themselves, yet they're teachable, which is a paradox. That's hard to find. Somebody believes in themselves and teachable at the same time. Not too many of those out there. Willing to spend the time. Are becoming self-educated. They're coming down the road. They're learning how to do the 14-day call. They come up to you at a meeting and they say, you know, I had 3 people supposed to be here tonight and only 1 showed up. And you say, that's great. During the break, you run out there to the payphone, you call those other 2 and scratch them off your list. And you walk out in the hall and there they are on the phone. That's the kind of people you want. Oh, I'll do it when I get home. They call you all the time. Bug you to death. That's the kind you want. If you got to call them every other day, they probably aren't going to do this business. They attend briefings and they bring people with them. They completed their plan of action and they're consistently out there every week trying to retail and recruit. That's the type of people you're looking for. See, you got to get this puzzle put together in your mind. You got to get the profile of people you're looking for. That's the next puzzle. You got to get good at identifying the right people. Quit wasting your time with the wrong ones. See, when Jim Jones and Phil both, and Sean too, when they came in this business, man, they thought everybody was going to do it. They've wasted so much time. See, Phil couldn't understand why everybody didn't have the work ethic he had. Man, he was kicking them, begging them, everything he could to get them down the road, and they weren't coming. It's a whole lot easier to scratch them and find some new ones than it is to try to take people that aren't going to do it and make them do something. You know where all your frustration in this business comes from? You know where all my frustration in this business comes from? It's from trying to get people to do something they aren't going to do. Once you realize the ones that are and the ones that aren't, and all you got to do is lead, guide, and direct and take your 2x4 out and beat the ones that are, you can do this business. Now, I would ask you here, have you put this puzzle together? And I can tell you right now that you never put this one quite together. Because this is an area identifying people that you're going to get better and better and better and better at the longer you're in the business. You never quite put this thing together. Once you get to a certain point, the only thing that's going to determine your future and your income is your leadership ability and your time management skills and your ability to pick out the right ones. Pick out the right ones. You know, it's kind of funny. Rick LaValle there, he's a right one. When I first met Rick LaValle at the first meeting he ever came to, I knew he was the right one the first time I met him. You kind of get that feel. Amy, where's Amy Harkless? First time I met her, I knew she was the right one. Sean, talking to him on the phone. This guy's bugging them. Oh, gosh, who is this idiot in South Carolina? How did he get my home phone number anyway? Bugging me to death. But you know what? I knew he was the right one. Brad Bradford, the first time I met Brad, when I got back from the preacher and the kid, I called Kenny Jeanette and I said, you got somebody you need to take care of because this is the right one. See, the longer you're in it, the more you get to identify the right ones. But let me tell you something. Everybody in this room, you're the right ones, or you wouldn't be here. See, it just might take you a little bit longer than it will some other people. But just because you're spending a day here tells me that you're the right ones. But you got to learn, grow, and develop. Some of us have natural skills, talents, and abilities that are good towards this business. But we all have to come down the... Are you following me? We all have to come down the road. There's a lot more people that when I first meet them, I don't think they're the right ones. But I know if they get in, stay in, plug in, they will become the right ones. You follow what I'm saying? See, I can look at some of you and I wouldn't do this to you, but I could say when I first met you, I knew you wasn't the right one. But you've been here a year, and guess what? You're now the right ones because you aren't going nowhere. You've made that decision. You've come down the road long enough, hard enough, far enough, where you're here. And see, the reality of it is, when you get there, you're going to be able to help a whole lot more people than maybe some of the right ones were. Because, see, you've had to come through more. You've had to learn more. You've had to believe in yourself more. See, people say, well, Dale, how come you've learned all this? How come you got all this? Because I was so terrible when I started. See, most of you wouldn't even try to sponsor me when I first got in this industry. I mean, you talk about a 70%er, I was a negative 70%er. And y'all have heard me talk about it, but my sponsor had so much confidence in me, he quit 2 weeks after I got in. So the harder your path, the more people you're going to be able to touch. See, a lot of you, you call me and you're going through some hard times, and I sit back and I just try not to laugh. Oh, Dale, I'm just, in this. Phil lost a senior area director last week. Shouldn't have lost him. It's Phil's fault he lost him. We talked about it. He'll never lose another one. I said, Phil, learn from him and go on, man. And he is, and he has, and he will. But I can remember when Phil's first starting, and New Image, and you talk about robbing Peter to pay Paul, and he's got 2 girls in college and trying to come up with their tuition and eat at the same time. And I'm sitting back there and I'm watching him and I'm supporting him and I'm helping him. But in my gut, in my heart, I'm thinking, man, one day he's going to be able to look back on this and he'll realize how valuable going through this is. See, because I knew Phil's going to make it. No question in my mind he's going to make it. But when you're in the middle of it, you don't understand the value of it. But once you get out of it, it's so valuable because you can help and relate and bring other people down that same road. So when you're there, I know it's hard, but thank God you're there because it's going to really make you that much stronger and better once you come out of it. And you will come out of it if you get that in your mind that you will. Okay. Next. Okay, puzzle number 5. You've identified the right people, right? That's puzzle number 4. Puzzle number 5 is you got to get real good at telling people what they need to hear, not want to hear. Understand that you only need 2 people a year, 2 good ones a year, and it doesn't matter what level they're on. See, most of you get all caught up in working with your frontline people. It doesn't matter where they're at. You got to get down in that organization and find them. It doesn't matter if they're 7 levels under you. If they're a good, strong 27%er, you better get down there and work with them and make sure they're internalizing. And don't expect your downline to do it. They aren't going to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. Say, well, Dale, I'm not putting somebody down there because they won't work with them. They aren't supposed to work with them. They're duds. They're going to quit anyway. You work with them and it's going to roll up to you. What do Kenny Jeanette, Anthony Heflin, Carol Ely, Stephen Kim Hicks, Dr. Dan Moore, Jim Jones, and myself all have in common? We got the pieces of the puzzle. The person that brought us into network marketing is no longer in network marketing. My best man at my wedding sponsored me. He knew me, that's why he quit 2 weeks after I got in. The guy that sponsored Kenny Jeanette into New Image International quit and went to a gold deal that went out of business. You talk about sick. Do you realize how much he would be earning today? I see him a postcard on a TV show. Now, what are you going to learn from this? That you got to get down in there and find them. You got to get down in there and find them. Okay. The person that introduced Sam, I already talked that. Okay. Once you've identified them, you got to get good at working with them. And it's by providing directional, coaching, supporting, and delegating leadership. How many of you have read the book, Leadership and the 1-Minute Manager? That's awesome. Man, they ought to give us royalties on that thing, shouldn't they? Now, a lot of you read it and you said, you know what, I don't know what they were so excited about this thing for. But I want to tell you what, every time you read it, it's going to get a little clearer and a little clearer and a little clearer. You need to read that book at least twice a year. If you're regional, you need to read it at least once a quarter. Because that book will do more for you as far as developing people than any other book I've ever read. Puzzle number 6. Looking in and developing the potential leaders. Locking in, excuse me. If somebody quit, it's your fault if they're good. If they stay, it's your fault if you don't run them off. See, when I'm out and about and I reach somebody that's just negative, and you know, they're the type of person that nobody, you know, that when they leave the room, it lights up. You know, they holler at their dog and their dog won't even come to them. When I see those kind of people, the first thing I ask them is, who's your upline? And the second thing I ask them is, how long you been with us? And if they say over 6 months, I'm wondering why that upline hadn't run them off by now. Because we don't need them here. You better get rid of them. Because they're going to pull you down. Are you following me? Yes. So what you've got to do, when you find that good person, I don't care if they're 5 levels under you, your number one priority is not to throw gasoline on them. Your number one priority is get down in depth and find somebody good under them and lock them in so they don't quit. See, that is the key. You lock your good people in by finding somebody good under them. What we want to do is we say, I got a good line, they're doing great, so I'm going to go try to find me another good line. No, you don't go find another good line until you get this one locked in. You get this one locked in, it's going to be there forever. Now you can go find you another one. But if you leave it too soon, you're going to lose it. Because they're going to get skeptical, they're going to get in a slump. It doesn't matter how much success they're having, they're going to get misdirected. Somebody's going to get them at the wrong time, and before you know it, they're in the diet patch program. So you got to get them locked in. Whose responsibility is that? It's yours. You got that. Okay. That's puzzle number 6. You know how most of you are going to get it? Losing your first good one. I can sit up here and talk about it. Some of you say, well, Dale, I haven't found a good one yet. No, but when you do, you're going to lose them if you don't listen to this. How do you do it? By supporting their warm market activities with cold market activities in their local market. Make sure you're working the plan of action, TV shows, postcards, classified ads, cable TV, bulletin board ads, whatever it takes. If you got activity going on under somebody, if you're putting one person down, 2 people down in that group every month, they aren't going nowhere. So you got to stay with them, and that's how you do it right there. Is everybody with me? Yes. Can you all do that? Yes. All right. Puzzle number 7. We only got 2 left, 7 and 8. I love this one. After you've developed the skills and attitudes necessary for success, you can control your own destiny in network marketing. You know why I was burnt out? You know why I decided that I would never do it again? You talk to somebody that paid the price in another company, you know what they're going to tell you? I'm never ever going to let my future depend upon anybody else but me. Some of you that are burnt out. You're out of network marketing, you say, I'm not joining that again because I had a good group and they all fell apart. And I'm never ever going to let anybody else determine my future but me. And that was my attitude. I'm not working with these people anymore. Give them all your time, energy, effort, heart, and soul, and then they quit on you. I'm not doing it anymore. Once you understand that you can control your destiny in this industry, do you realize the relief that will occur for you? When you can totally control your destiny, when you get good at recruiting and developing people, when you get good at putting 5 people in a month, and then get real good at working those puzzles 4, 5, and 6, identifying the right people, locking them in. And I don't know this to be a fact, but I can tell you what, Carol would have probably made it regardless, but I'll tell you what, when Carol hit Roger and Rhonda Wagers, she ain't going nowhere. Right? Would you quit if the wagers were in your downline? No. Would you? No. You see the value in that. So you get good people. Once you understand that this business, you got to build 5 lines. 5 lines. There's no reason to ever build more than 5. And if you get those 5 lines going, those 5 plates spinning, y'all have seen the guy in the circus, right? He gets it going and he gets it going, and this one starts wobbling, he'll run over and get it going again. Y'all have seen that. And that's the way you build this business. You build 5 lines, and when this one starts wobbling, then you run over there and you throw 2 people in that line. As deep as you can get them, what happens? It creates a little fire from the bottom up, and that plate starts spinning again. And then all of a sudden, this one starts wobbling right here. And you think, oh my goodness, it's wobbling. They aren't coming to the meetings or whatever. So you run in there and you throw a couple people in there, and you get that plate spinning again. And you get them spinning and you get them spinning, and you're juggling 5 at once. And you're going after it, or you can do 2, 2, 1. That's why we say 2, 2, 1, because it's a whole lot easier to keep 2 of them going than 5. You with me? Okay, so what happens, and this is the beautiful part, you get the leadership in there that's duplicating leadership. You get 2 or 3 key people in this line right here, and all of a sudden they get 2 or 3. And see that plate right there? It's spinning just as fast as it can spin, and it's not wobbling at all. And all of a sudden you can walk away from that one, and it's going to spin for the rest of your life. It's going to spin all by itself no matter what you do, because down here there's a bunch of more spinning plates that's holding this one up. You see that? And all of a sudden, one day, down the road, you got 5 lines with plates spinning everywhere, all the way down there. And you can walk away, and it doesn't matter what you do. If Bob Armstrong decides to go to China again for 30 days, you can go with him. You see what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want to do. You now have time and money. You also have the respect. You have the knowledge. And you realize that you can build it anywhere you go. See, there's two ways to build it, by chance or by design. It's a whole lot easier to build it by design, by learning the puzzles, putting them together, and teaching other people to put the puzzles together. Quit making this thing harder than it is. Here's the road. Imagine a funnel right there. And you're stuffing it every month. And out of the bottom, 5, 6, 7 people drop. And they start on the road. Y'all with me? And in the beginning, you have got to supply them with strong, directional leadership. That means get your 2x4 out. Don't let them run off like a chicken with their head cut off. Love them enough to tell them what they need to hear, not want to hear. See, most people, when we find somebody pops out of the funnel, we're so happy that we finally got somebody to pop out of the funnel, we just let them go off like a chicken with their head cut off. In 90 days, they're out of the business, and we can't figure out why. So they pop out of the funnel, they start on the road. In the beginning, you got to provide strong directional leadership, and you got to make sure that they are mastering the basics. How to retail, how to do their follow-up calls, make sure they're wrapping their bottles and doing it right. So they start on this road, and everybody has a beginning spurt. That's the ignorance on fire stage. Right? They're unconsciously incompetent. Man, they're retailing like nuts because they're excited. Now, some of you will have people that will pop out of the funnel and they land on that road right there and they never do anything. They just sit there. They just sit there right there. They never do anything. They just sit there. The reason they're just sitting there is because they came in because you talked them into it, not because they wanted to do it. Most of the people, my first 50 people that I brought in network marketing, they didn't want to do it. They paid $25 to sign me up and get me out of their living room. Y'all are laughing. They're doing it with you right now. Some of you. Are y'all following this? Oh. So they're sitting there. Now we got somebody that's going to run, so we've got to give them the leadership that they need. They start down the road, and they're doing great, and then all of a sudden they go like this. And they hit the slump. They miss 2 meetings. They miss 2 meetings, they're in a slump. You better get to them because they're going to be gone within 30 days. When they miss 2 meetings, you get out in your file. You find a copy of their 20 reasons. What do you mean, Dale? Find a copy? Why do I have their 20 reasons? You better have their 20 reasons. You send them a Breaking the Chains of Mediocrity or a Streak When You Slump cassette and a copy of their 20 reasons and a personal note. So I've missed you the last couple of weeks. I hope to see you next week at the meeting. If they don't show up, you call them. Sean, I'm sorry you've missed the last 3 weeks. What's going on? You really want out of that job that you spent 18 years in? Man, you got to get back to the meetings, get some people. Well, Dale, this is going wrong and that's going wrong. And I tell you, I'm just having real trouble with my belief in myself right now. Sean, I got a book I'm going to get to you. I want you to read it. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big. Are you following what I'm saying? See, you got to have value focus. You got to love your people enough to do your very best. And you try to get them back to the meeting. If they don't come back and if they quit, I don't care if they quit. Quitters are supposed to quit. Most of the people that come in are supposed to quit. Here's all I care about, that I did everything within my power to help their family and their dreams come true. And if I did everything I was supposed to do, then I still got to let the quitters quit. But you got to know in your heart and your soul that you did everything you could to keep them in. Are you with me? Yes. Every now and then, you're going to save a few of them that'll start back on the road. Every now and then. If you don't get to them with their 20 reasons and that cassette tape and you don't follow up with a phone call, you're going to lose 100% of them. Some people say, well, Dale, I don't want to call them because I know they're going to be negative. That's what you get paid for. they start back on the road. And see, all of you, a lot of you in this room, that's where you've been. Once they get in this position, you've got to continue to direct, but you've got to start coaching them. You've got to start coaching them. You've got to tell them to go scratch some off their list if they didn't show up tonight. And you've got to make sure they're on the Tape of the Month program, they're on ImageNet, and they're learning, growing, and internalizing the concepts. And the road's kind of like this. And then they kind of get better and better, and they've kind of mastered retelling. And then you can get in more of a supporting mode with them. And all of a sudden they become a regional director, and when they hit a regional director, in some cases, their business is going to go like that. What's that called? The plateau. That's when you've really got to get to them. Make sure they don't get a case of the stupids. Make sure you got somebody under them that's producing and locking them in. And if they will persist, eventually you're going to have a national director. See, that's the road you guys are on. I've seen a lot of people come down it. I can look at some of them and tell you where you're at on this road. There's nobody in this room that can't do this business. There's nobody. There's 8 puzzles. Now, I think what we're going to do, when this finally comes out on video and cassette, we'll probably have 8 cassettes. And each cassette will be the different puzzle. So you can say, okay, I'm here right here with puzzle 1. And you listen to that, and you get that, and you internalize that, and you master it. And then you go to puzzle 2. And you get that, you internalize that, and you master it. Then you go to puzzle 3. Then you go to puzzle 4. Then you go to puzzle 5. And I'll come in and fill in the blanks that were left off today on the cassette tapes. And we'll talk about it and see if you are willing to do your part. If you're willing to do your... See, if you don't do your part, there's nothing I can do. I'm doing all I possibly know to do to provide the tools and the training necessary, but you got to put the ambition behind it. You got to have your reasons, not Dale's reasons. But I'm doing everything I know to do to bring you down the road. And I want to tell you what, there's not a company in this industry that has 1/25 of what we've got to lead, guide, direct, and train you in this industry. There's not. There's no company in this industry that has a unified leadership team that we've got. See, if you don't make it here, I know you aren't going to make it anywhere else. The diet patch ain't going to do it for you. And I want to promise you this. Don't ever let me get your picture and then you quit. Because you're going to end up here. See, people think we do the regional directors across the stage to give them recognition. That's part of it, but that's not most of it. Most of it is one day I'm going to sit up here with about 150 of them and make fun of every one of them. Is the picture clear? Do you see the pieces of the puzzle? Do you understand you can? You must persist. You must persist. You must take the time to learn, grow, and internalize. You must understand that education always comes before income. I just want you guys to know that I believe in you. You wouldn't spend all day on a Saturday. Some of you drove hours to be here. I have done everything that I know. And I know that you aren't going to get all of it, but all I want you to really do is leave here with 1 or 2 things that you can do next week. And the second thing that I want you to understand is that the picture is here. The puzzle is complete. So all you've got to do is plug in and learn it piece by piece, idea by idea, concept by concept. See, if you know the road is here, then you can follow it. But you got to take the responsibility, not for me, not for your upline, not for your downline, for yourself and your family to follow it. The most powerful statement I ever heard in my life is that hell starts when the person you are meets the person you could have become. And if you don't do it, you'll never know how great it could have been if you just done it. I appreciate y'all being here today.
You know, as I think about it, I think what this training really comes down to is what I called in later years. I didn't call it this back then, but it's what I was communicating. It's the leadership development paradigm shift, the paradigm shift. And what we were attempting to do was help people understand from day one that the business is about developing leaders. And what I've had to do over the last 10 years especially, 5-10 years, is I've used the term leadership development paradigm shift because the whole concept of developing leaders is so foreign. Developing leaders is so foreign in today's network marketing world. Everybody, I'm going to go find me a leader. I'm going to find me a leader. It's not about finding a leader from another company. It's about developing homegrown leaders from within. And really, we've talked about also how to be a talent scout. And so you'll never develop a talent scout mentality if you don't have a leadership development mentality, because you aren't looking for talent, you're looking for anybody. You're just looking for anybody and everybody and accept anybody, accept everybody. And again, that's the beautiful thing about network marketing. It gives everybody equal opportunity. But, I mean, everybody has the opportunity. But if you're going to maximize your potential, then you have to find the right people down in your team and spend the time, energy, and effort to help them progress and learn. Again, going back to the leadership of the 1-minute manager, you have to direct, coach, support, and get them to a point of delegation if you're going to really maximize your upside potential in this profession. So it's really about leadership development and talent scout. And again, they know how to drive at 5 speed. It will never, if you don't have a leadership development mentality, then you'll never become a talent scout, because you're just looking for anybody and everybody. You've got to be looking and have an ear, listen to people who are career frustrated, looking for something else, are underemployed. You develop that over time if your foundation of what you're doing is correct, that you're in the leadership development business. I appreciate you guys going through this program. I hope you've taken a ton of notes. I hope it's created insights and maybe an awareness. And for those of you that have already bought into the whole concept of leadership development and build people, people build the business, I hope this has really been positive reinforcement for you. I hope you understand that you really have everything in your hands that you're ever going to need to build as huge of organization as you decide that you're going to, that you want to, whatever success looks like for you. When the internet came and the shift started, when I saw people trying to shortcut everything, emotionally, for me, it was easy to just disconnect from the profession, because again, I've been teaching this so long, I believe in it so much that I can talk about it and get into heavy conversation about this industry and developing teams for the rest of my life. It's just simple, because I don't know a lot. I don't know how to change the oil in my car. There's a lot of stuff I don't know, but I understand what it takes to develop network marketing teams that duplicate and developing people at a level that it sincerely haunts me. So I just want to thank you for your support of this program. A lot of you guys, your support on social media, on our webinars that we do generically. Sincerely, I just want to thank you. In 2015, after having a couple heart attacks and coming downstairs and telling Dawn, my wife, that I want to devote as much time, energy, and effort I can for the rest of my life to the network marketing profession, from a business standpoint, that made 0 sense. 0. So if it wasn't for the feedback that we get from you and the fact that we do know that some people are hearing and acting upon what they hear, I wouldn't be doing this, and we wouldn't have re-released this to you guys that are watching it now. It would have went in the archives and stayed in the archives. So I sincerely appreciate your support. People tell me all the time, Dale, you're good for the industry because you call out the foo-foo dust. You're good for the industry because you walk the walk. You're good for the industry, Dale, because of this, and you're good for the industry, Dale, because of that. I hear that a lot, and I appreciate it. I sincerely appreciate it. But I'm not doing this to be good for the industry. If it doesn't create change, if it doesn't start to nudge this ship, for me, it's not worth it. It makes no sense. So I really appreciate those of you that just don't hear, because knowledge without action leads to self-delusion. And I sincerely appreciate those of you that understand and hear it and see it on a deep level and are implementing it on your teams. Because that's what I want to see happen. Some of you, this is my commercial, some of you need to hire me, like yesterday, to help you solidify your launch process, your retail to recruit system, your two-step recruiting process, your retention system, and then the top 5 ways you're going to teach people to generate leads after the launch, after the initial launch. You need to hire me to help you to do that, because I can, but I'm expensive, and but if you're the right person, it'll be the best money that you ever spend. So I needed to say that because I should. That's it, man. That's really kind of it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If this has spoke to you, see, I go back and I'm thinking, okay, Dale, 2 year in the industry, Dale, 3 year in the industry, Dale, 4 year in the industry, Dale. If they saw what you just saw, what would their reaction be? And I like to think that it would be, okay, this is my blueprint. It's right here in the palm of my hands. Here it is. I'm going to put together the launch process. I'm going to go to mlmhelp.com and I'm going to type in launching your business, and I'm going to learn everything that I can learn from Dale about launching it, because he's done it. I'm going to go and I'm going to learn how to create a retail to recruit system. I'm going to learn those core fundamentals, and I'm going to master them so I can teach them to other people who can teach them to others, who can teach them to others. Last thing I want to say is, I know I can come across politically incorrect. I have no problem with that. I can come across abrupt. I can come across like I don't give a flying flip. I can come across like this guy thinks he knows more than everybody else. Blah 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 blah. Here's what I want to say. It took me from the time I started, retired at 39, 2 heart attacks at 55, to understand one thing. I was given an opportunity when I started in this profession that 99.99% of the people were not given. Because of my nature of looking behind the curtain and trying to really understand the why, not just because, but really trying to understand how people think, how they operate. Always been that way my whole life, fascinated with human nature. I got involved in network marketing at a time when Sony came out with a Walkman. And I was blessed to have the opportunity on my job to listen to audios for 8 hours a day, every day. In 3 years, I was able to listen to so much information, just consume, just trying to, just from everybody, from events that were happening all over the country. I was so fortunate to have that opportunity because it gave me a different perspective. See, to me, it's common sense that if you build people, people build the business. This is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. To me, it's common sense. But I realize now, at 55, I was just blessed because of the Sony Walkman and the opportunity to listen to those audios 8 hours a day for over 5 years, and then compress that information into what you've heard. I hope that you understand that's where I'm coming from. I was fortunate. I'm trying to pass along what has been given to me to you. I hope you receive it in the spirit in which it was intended. Thank you, guys. Thank you.